You are Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? Welcome to your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, and I am pumped to be here with you today, man. It's a holiday weekend. First of all, thank you to all those who have served. Thank you to all of those who have lost their lives defending our country. Thanks to all of you if you've served. And a lot of the day-to-dayers have. We've been hearing from them. So I love it. At Jim Grease _ on social media. Let me know your stories, your veteran stories. What was your service like? And people in your family have served or made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. I'd love to hear them. At Jim Grease _ You can DM me there. I love the fact that we get to come on today in the middle of a holiday weekend, and it's just a beautiful vibe, and it's just an awesome mood. The Marlins with another win, guys. They're 9-4 since that loss to Philly, and I guess it was a 5-game losing streak at that point. So they've won 9 out of 13 games. They've won 4 series in a row now, right? The Diamondbacks, they just took 2 out of 3, winning this game today, and that makes their 4th straight series. We'll get into all that here on the show today. Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, wherever you listen to your podcast, and of course right here, Locked On Miami YouTube. And I am really pumped to just be here day in and day out and covering the sport that I love in the city. Man, I went to the U. Shout out to the University of Miami. We'll be here for the Dolphins. We'll be here for the Canes football and Heat basketball when that kicks up and kicks in again. But what a win for the Marlins. First things first, I Papa. Freaks all the honeys. No, first things first, I want to thank you for making Locked On Marlins POSTCAST your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and of course on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And what a job that they do. Everybody across the network. I'm just honored to be part of this and be a member of the team here at Locked On. Just to think about all the wonderful things that are going on right now, and the postcast, the initiative this summer, like rolling them out, cities all over America. Gotta love it. And you gotta love Game Time. Game Time, proud sponsor of your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. And Game Time is bringing you tonight's episode. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But don't they always apply? Terms always apply. Oh, man, what a win for the Marlins today, guys. I know you guys really appreciate day in and day out the things that they do and the way that they play the game, right? They scratch, they claw, they're never out of a game. They do some things that'll drive you crazy, right? Like De La Cruz error out in left. It wasn't an error. It ended up being a triple for Carroll, but it got by him. Tough play for sure. But, man, that was something that he could have, maybe pulled up and let that ball hit in front of him. Tough, and the angles are crazy when the game comes at you so fast. It's just insane. But I will say this, man. The Marlins will do some things to drive you crazy. They'll run themselves out of some innings, trying to take extra bases, but you love the aggressiveness. You love the fury. You love the passion with which they play the game. It's incredible. The Miami Marlins really love to play this game, and that's something that's not always, you don't always see that at the professional level. You can see how much fun they're having, how much they truly like and get along with each other. They're always going to be scrapping. They're always going to be fighting. Another great outing today, or good outing, I should say, from the bullpen. But let's take a look at some of the stuff that happened in this game today out in Arizona. And, the Marlins send Ryan Weathers to the mound, and you see it in the title. He was fantastic again today. And this dude has been literally killing it for the Miami Marlins. And, this is Ryan Weathers now 3-4. He finally got a win for one of these performances that he's been putting out lately. No decisions lately against Detroit and against Milwaukee. He goes 8 against Detroit. He goes 7 against Milwaukee. Only 3 hits against the Tigers in 8 innings. No runs allowed. 2 hits and 2 runs. 1 earned against Milwaukee. And then today, Weathers, I almost said David Weathers. He's a better pitcher than his dad. Don't tell his dad I said that. Or tell him. You know what I mean? But he goes 6 innings today. 4 hits, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts, and a walk. I thought Skip took him out a little early. He brought Cronin in and Fauché, and then Tanner Scott, who's been lights out lately, man. He's one of the better closers in baseball right now. So you're really feeling good. The bullpen, and it's been different guys, no Nardi today. And Nardi's been in there, but it's Fauché and Cronin and Scott, right? But every single day you hand that ball to Tanner Scott, you know you're going to get a couple things. You're going to get some heat, you're going to get some strikeouts, but you're going to get a lot of saves from him. So what a day it was for Weathers and the Marlins. I'm not sure why Skip took him out when he did. He goes to 3-4, but at least he got the win. The last 2 times out, he didn't get a win. He should have won those games. But Ryan Weathers has been the best pitcher maybe on the staff because Jesus Luzardo's on fire too. You got Trevor Rogers going tomorrow. More on that toward the end of the show. He's been one good, one bad, one good, one bad. Sixto Sanchez gave you his best start of the year last night, which was still, in my opinion, just not good at all. And I just think a lot of people are with me on that. I'm waiting for Sixto to get it going. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. But for right now, he's kind of stuck in the mud, as my grandfather used to say. Kind of stuck in the mud. And, shout out to Blake Walston, made his first career start for the D-backs today, went 4 2/3 innings, allowed 4 hits and no runs. Really good job by him. And so he was going toe-to-toe with Weathers. And that was a nice job by the Marlins. Look, it was a tough night for them offensively. Again, you had some really good defense. The Diamondbacks are a very good defensive team, right? So you've had some really good defense played against you. The 7th inning, you're scratching, you're clawing, you're doing whatever you can to get a run across. And that's what they had to do in the 7th inning. Berger eventually hit a 2-run single. But the Marlins in the 7th, and this is the kind of inning that you want to see more of. This is the kind of inning where you want to see them push those runs across the dish when they're playing the way that they were in the top of the 7th. And, Rivera grounds out to first. And, oh, wait, hold on. I'm reading that backwards. Yeah, he grounds. So Brujan grounds out to first. So with Brujan, then Fortes singles to right. Sanchez hits for Myers, which they've been doing. Dane Myers got the start, hit leadoff. Sanchez been hitting for him when that happens. And Sanchez had 2 hits as a pinch hitter tonight. Shout out to him, Jesus. So Sanchez singles to right. Fortes goes to second. So Brujan grounds out. Fortes singles to right. Sanchez singles to right. Fortes to second. Wasn't able to get to third. De La Cruz, Brian DLC comes up. Hits into what should be a pretty routine fielder's choice to shortstop. But a wild throw by Newman, the shortstop for the Diamondbacks, allows the first run to come across the plate, which was Fortes. So it's 1-0 Diamondbacks in the hole there. Marlins with the lead. And then De La Cruz goes to second base on a wild pitch and Sanchez to third. So they a wild pitch by Ginkel, right? So here's the key to the inning. The wild pitch moves the runners to second and third. They do not walk Jake Berger to load the bases. He singles and scores 2 runs, and it's 3-0 Marlins. At that point, and the way that the Marlins were pitching and their bullpen was in the game, at that point, it was looking really good. Then the Diamondbacks, they get later in the game, they scored their run. It was the 8th inning, I believe, when Carroll hit that triple, right? Yeah, it was the 8th. Sometimes these innings bleed together. Yeah, Gurriel rounds out the third, and Carroll scores. Carroll on the triple to left. That kind of, I played outfield a lot. That's one of those balls where you're playing left, depending on if it's a righty or a lefty, but the ball's usually slicing away from you. It's hit hard. It's very tough sometimes to pick it up off the bat, especially in those stadiums with the fans behind you. Not always the best backdrop for you. Not making excuses for him. I guess I kind of am, huh? But it ate him up, and it allowed that triple to happen for Carroll, and then he scored on the ground out. But that was pretty much it, right? The Marlins threatened again, and this is something that, I want to get into this. Where are we at in the show here? We are about at the first break. Let me go a little bit more on Weathers and what happened in this game today, because I want to talk to you a little bit about the Marlins in the top of the 9th. And that's an inning that sort of illustrates some of the things I've been talking about with this team lately and how they, better be careful because they found ways to do it all year, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. But at the same time, just not getting those runs across the plate, not pushing them across the plate when they need to, not finding a way to do it. They did it in the 7th, right? But after that in the 9th, it didn't happen for them. They did not, and they were not able to do it. So, man, I tell you, when you have any, you know what? No, I'm going to do it when we come back out of the break, because the Marlins should have blown this game wide open in the 9th inning. They weren't able to do it. Just some more of these innings need to turn into big innings. You can feel it coming. Weekend, I feel it coming. They're 9-4 in their last 13 games since that loss to Philly, right? They've won all these series in a row. 4 series in a row. 4, or as Moses Malone used to say, 4 in a row. How about that? Okay, so they've won 2 out of 3 in 4 straight series. And these aren't, these are pretty good teams too. They took that last game to win 1 out of 3 from Philly, but Detroit's in there. Milwaukee, first place team's in there. Diamondbacks went to the World Series last year. They are in there. And so, yeah, I think it's great. I really think it's great what they're doing. And yeah, it was Detroit, and the Mets were in there too. And the Mets aren't great, obviously, but those are the series they've won. And now here they are on the verge of turning this into an interesting season, right? Don't even look at the standings yet. Keep chipping away. Keep going. You got nothing to lose. You started 0-9. You've had a 6-gamer and a 5-gamer in terms of losing streaks. So, when you're winning, you don't question anything. When you're winning, you don't question anything. That is for sure, because the baseball gods don't like that. You are watching your Locked On Marlins postcast with me, Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries at Jim Gries _. 3-1. The Marlins win in the desert. They take down the Arizona Diamondbacks. What a performance by Ryan Weathers yet again. I believe Luzardo will be the pitcher in game 2 at San Diego, and they see their old friend Luis Arias and the Padres as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun for the Marlins. You are watching your Locked On Marlins postcast with me, Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries. 3-1. They win over Arizona in the desert. The first series of the road trip ends up being a success. When we come back on the other side of the break, I'm going to talk to you about that top of the 9th inning with the Marlins. I'm going to talk to you about some of those innings lately where they just haven't been able to break it open. And I'm really excited to see that day when this offense finally gets that part going. The starters, for the most part, Sanchez and sometimes Rogers notwithstanding, have been really good lately. The bullpen, lights out lately. Defensively, getting much better. Seems like Skip's finding those rotations with the catchers, especially in the middle infielders. I like what they are doing all the way across the board. But, and this is a big one, right? The offense has to get going. The offense really has to get going and score some runs in bunches. We'll talk about that in just about a minute and a half on your Locked On Marlins postcast. There we go. One of my favorite times is game time. When do you not love game time? I love going to Major League Baseball games during the summer, that fond memory from childhood. I remember my grandfather taking me to see the A's and the Red Sox. By the way, happy birthday, Grampy, my hero today. And my son, Jake, turns 22. My grandfather's passed, but what a day for me. My grandfather and my son, birthdays on the same day. But my grandfather took me to see the Red Sox and the A's when I was a kid, maybe 15 at the time. And we went and saw the Bash brothers take batting practice at Fenway Park. Now, I hate the Red Sox. I'm a Yankees fan. My grandfather was a Red Sox fan. I never, ever would turn down an invitation to go anywhere with him, even a stinking, lousy, rotten Red Sox game. But just watching that A's team take BP with Canseco, McGuire, Dave Henderson, Dave Parker, Ricky Henderson, just unbelievable, that team. The A's in that era, Dave Stewart, Bobby Welch, R.I.P. Welchie, my buddy, and what a team they were. Anyway, I have a lot of fond memories from games like that I've been to. I took my son to Yankee Stadium before they closed it down. I haven't been to the new one yet. I refuse. But Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. And if we'd have had Game Time when my dad and my grandfather used to take me to games, forget about it. It would have been a whole different experience. But, it makes getting tickets faster. And it makes getting tickets easier. You love that about Game Time. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. You can kind of hold out a little bit and see where that money's going. And that's kind of fun, too, with killer last-minute deals. And I mean killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. It's cool. It actually has a picture. It's not even a picture. It's like panoramic of your view from your seat, which is absolutely awesome, man. I will tell you what, you got a lot of big-time series coming up for the Marlins. They're playing at San Diego, and you have baseball just continuing to heat up all summer long, man. It really is cool. And I think the thing about Game Time, more than anything, you can save in a zone deal, right? And it's kind of like Priceline, where you just name your price and they give you what they give you. Well, the zone is like you choose a section and you let Game Time choose the seats. Last minute deals, you can save up to 60% buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, all of it with Game Time. And I love that too. The all-in pricing, when you toggle that feature, it shows the total up front with no surprise fees. Check out its lowest price guaranteed. Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference, and your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for your $20 discount. It's $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB. Oh, the LOCKEDONMLB. LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Man, this world is crazy, right? This world is absolutely crazy with everything that we have. And I was just talking to my mom and her guy came out here a couple weeks ago, and they had never used Turo. Just things like Turo and Airbnb and DoorDash and, the Game Time app and eBay Motors, Supply House, some of the great sponsors of this show. Anyway, it is just fantastic, and I love it. All right, I am Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. 3-1. The Marlins beat the Diamondbacks in the desert today, and I'll tell you, man, and it just is. And how about that Panthers game? How did that Panthers game go? I gotta look this up real quick for you guys, because Panthers and Rangers, and we're not locked on Panthers, but we are locked on sports. Miami and the Rangers beat the Panthers 5-4 in OT. And so that series now led by the Rangers 2-1. So there you have it. Okay, so the Marlins and do we have a recap yet? Yes, we do. The Marlins box score, this is how it looks, okay? It wasn't obviously not a whole heck of a lot going on throughout the night, because they didn't even score until the 7th inning. And it was the big league debut of Blake Walston for the D-backs. And, of course, the third straight fantastic start, fourth straight very good start for Ryan Weathers, who picked up the win to go to 3-4. Again, Weathers, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts and a walk. And that bullpen was really good. 3 straight innings. And not Fauché, he had a tough one, but he had a couple of strikeouts as well. He gave up a hit and an earned run. But remember, that triple to Wesley Carroll was legitimately just ate up Brian De La Cruz. So I don't understand, but I'll tell you this, man. When the Marlins got that run in the 7th, it started to remind me of what I look like with this team day in and day out, and how I'm pulling what little hair I have left out of my head when they run themselves out of innings, when they don't break open the big innings. We're going to get to that in just a minute. But I'll tell you right now, we'll go through the box score with Myers getting the start in right field, hitting leadoff. He went 1 for 3. Sanchez replaced him as a pinch hitter later in the game. He went 2 for 2 with a run scored. Dane Myers hitting .294, and Sanchez is bringing that average up. They love Sanchez. I'll tell you this all the time, .237. De La Cruz went 2 for 5 with a run scored. Nick Gordon pinch ran for him and got thrown out of the plate. More on that in a minute, because that 9th inning was a little bit maddening with the Marlins. And then you had Bell DHing today, 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts, including a big one with a couple of runners in scoring position. And that was also in that 9th inning. So Bell left him on. He's down to 223. Berger, 1 for 4, 2 RBIs. Also hitting to a fielder's choice in the 9th inning when you thought he might come through with a hit after a tough at-bat, fouling off pitch after pitch, drawing a full count. And, oh, man, that was a nice at-bat. We'll get to that in a minute. Rivera, 0 for 4. Not a good night for Emmanuel. Jazz Chisholm Jr. in the 6th hole, 2 for 4. And a good night for Jazz. Anderson, 0 for 4. Brujan, 0 for 3. Fortes, 1 for 3 with that run scored, and also a walk. So he was on base 2 times. And, when you look at the Diamondbacks, other than that triple from Corbin Carroll, and Corbin Carroll's a good player, man. Corbin Carroll's a good player, but Corbin Carroll's having a bad year. He's having a really bad year. And, I mean, whenever he can get anything, he's hitting 188. Whenever he can get anything, it's a good thing for him. Right now, the triple ate up De La Cruz, or it would have been a shutout for the Marlins. It was a line drive kind of like right at him, where he came in a little bit. It ate him up and got by him. And so Carroll had the triple. He scored the run on the ground out from Lourdes. And let's see, Walker had a hit. Moreno had a hit. Suarez had a hit. Alexander and Newman each had a hit. So the bottom 4 hitters in the Diamondbacks order each had a hit. But other than that, it was just nothing doing for them. Their offense has been anemic. They picked up some momentum out in California before coming home to face the Marlins, and just weren't able to keep it or capitalize on it in any way. But the Marlins have been doing this to people lately. They've been beating some pretty good teams. The Tigers aren't chopped liver, are they? Nope. And so I honestly believe I honestly believe that this team can hang with anyone. They can play with anyone in Major League Baseball. You got the top-heavy teams with the big payrolls, the Dodgers, the Yanks, and teams like that. But this team, scratching, clawing, day in and day out, I like what they're doing. I love their chances down the line. And, you think about the Tigers and the Brewers and the Mets, these teams that they've beaten lately. The Mets are 8 games under 500. They went 1-2 against Philly. Philly's 38-16, just smoking everybody right now and putting a lot of distance between the Phillies and the Braves. The Brewers are a first-place team. Let's see. Where are they? Where are the Tigers? There they are. The Tigers, yeah, about a game under 500. So some pretty good teams and some pretty average teams in there, but doing the things that they've needed to get going to make things happen. And that's one of the things that I'm going to talk about on the other side of the break, because we're at the break. I promise on the other side of the break, I am going to talk to you about the Miami Marlins offensive inconsistency and what they can do to score more runs and break open some big innings, for crying out loud. It's some things to do with their base running, as well as the way that they're handling the sticks up there at the dish. You are watching your Locked On Marlins postcast, Locked On Sports Miami, and of course, wherever you listen to your podcast. Almost had it, but a little bit of a lag there. It's like my son says when he's on his game. It's lag, Dad. It's lag. You're giving me lag. Well, there's no lag. I'll tell you this. With Supply House, you get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades. If you're a skilled tradesman, no lag whatsoever. Supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? No problemo. Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the biz and talk to a real person every time. Pros and skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining supplyhouse.com's free Trademaster program. That's right, a Trademaster. Every one of you gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every single order. That's right, every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/T-M and order the plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. All righty. There we go. And while I have a moment, I want to remind you that Locked On Sports has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. And now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is what it's called. It's here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV's channels app. All right, there we go. Thank you again for making us your first listen and watch every day, by the way. I can never say that enough. We can never say that enough here at Locked On. We know you have a ton of choices. We love what we do for you here, and it's just growing. It's really growing by leaps and bounds, and we're really happy here at Locked On. We're wrapping it up. Locked On Marlins postcast. Happy to have you with me today. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, and man, a holiday weekend, a busy day. Happy birthday to my son, Jake, and my grandfather, Ken Molander. Man, he passed away when I was 18. But those lessons we get, he was the guy who had the radio in the ear listening to one game, baseball game on the TV, and then the sports page in his lap. And that was him. And so it was a lot of fun. But the Marlins, playing that scrappy version of baseball. And here's the thing that I want to really get to here. And this is something that I have been wanting to talk about for a while, a couple of shows, and we kind of have a chance to do it here today. First, I'm going to hit the recap, and then I'm going to talk to you about the Marlins' offensive woes. All right, here we go. Okay. Ryan Weathers, 6 dominant innings. Berger with the 2-run single, 2 outs in the 7th. Marlins beat the D-backs 3-1. 4th consecutive series win, won 9 of 13. We've told you all those things already in the show today. It's hard to believe this is the same team that started 0-9 and 10-31. But Weathers, 24 years old, man. 24 years old. A breakout season for him. Another stellar performance. And I agree with that. I mean, 21 innings, 1 earned run in his last 3 starts. Tanner Scott's been phenomenal. 7th save and 8 chances for him. Gotta love that. The Marlins didn't score much tonight, but they didn't have to. They took a 3-0 lead in the 7th. Newman's throwing error allowed Nick Fortes to score the first run. Then Berger with the 2-run single. And Arizona cut that to 3-1 in the 8th after Corbin Carroll hit the triple. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. brought him home on the ground out. Blake Walston made his first start for the D-backs. He got hooked pretty quick by Torey Lovello, though. And, Josh Bell ended the inning on a flyout from Justin Martinez. And there you go. Let's see. Anything for the Marlins? Nope, nothing on the wire. They go to San Diego. Trevor Rogers against Michael King. Rogers 1-6 with a 6.11 ERA. All right, I've been promising this all night, and I am going to do it now. And I hope it comes off the way that I intend for it to, because the Marlins are a scrappy team. I love the way they play. They show up every day. They always try to take the extra base. They're always trying to stretch. They'll take you out hard with a slide. They're all over the field diving for balls. I love this team in so many ways. But one of the things that's really been driving me crazy, as it may have you lately, is the fact that they just have not been able to put together any big innings. This is something that is really going to haunt them down the line. They have a chance to put together a pretty good season. Will they make the playoffs? More than likely not. They'd have to put together a miraculous run to do that. But in this 9th inning, and this is something that I've seen way too much of lately, tonight, Jarvis is pitching for the Diamondbacks, and Jesus Sanchez leads it off, right? Reaches on an infield single to first base. Gotta love Jesus. 2 hits as a pinch hitter tonight, coming on for Dane Myers. And then he goes to second on a wild pitch. It was the wild pitch, so he goes to second. So Sanchez on the infield single goes to second on the wild pitch. Then here comes Brian De La Cruz, gamer that he is, singles to right. Sanchez goes to third. So you got first and third, nobody out in the 9th inning. And remember, it's a 3-1 game, right? You want to get some insurance. You want to, and not just for that, but just to get that offense off the schneid, so to speak, so that they know they have some big innings under their belt and they can get this done. They did it a couple times late against the Mets, don't get me wrong, but throughout the games, putting themselves in holes or not scoring, pitchers have been great. Weathers had 2 no decisions in a row because his team's not scoring early. So Sanchez infield single, goes to second on the wild pitch. De La Cruz with a single, Sanchez to third, couldn't score on it because it was hard hit, right? And then Gordon runs for De La Cruz. Here comes Josh Bell. And tough go for him, 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts today. He strikes out swinging. You have to put the ball in play somehow in that position. It's first and third, nobody out. You have to put the ball in play. Easy for me to say. That's all I'm going to say. But you got to put the ball in play, right? Then Berger, what an at-bat by Jake Berger. And you could tell he's starting to really come around. Drove in a couple with a single earlier in this game. Working that count, man. Fell behind 1-2 early, but just fouling them off. And there's a ball. And fouling them off. Bang. And then there's another ball. And he runs the count full. Well, he grounds out to short, the fielder's choice. Gordon goes to second. Sanchez out at home in the rundown. So Sanchez was obviously, trying to make a play and score when, that ball was, when it's hit the shortstop like that, here's what happens, right? When the ball's hit to the middle infield, you have a choice to make as the third base runner or the third base coach. You're either going on contact, which happened here, or you're not, right? So they're thinking they're going on contact, and he's not going on contact, but as soon as the ball's hit, he's gone. He's gone, literally right there, just about at contact, and he's gone. And you just make that defense make that play, and that's kind of what he did there. And he tried to come home after the play at second. So, it's just one of those things. You see the ball get thrown to second, you try to come home, and then, they throw you out at the dish. So it's one of those innings and one of those times for this team. You've seen it many times. They had an inning a couple of weeks ago where they got single, double, back to back, didn't score a run. You've had plenty of innings where Chisholm got thrown out at third and Berger got thrown out at second yesterday, right? They're aggressive. They're always wanting to take the extra base. They're always wanting to score the extra run. But man, I'm just excited to see how much better this team is getting, how much better they, this is going to be a good summer for the Marlins. And then, of course, you never know who they're going to trade, right? But it's just so nice to see this team compete hard every night, be in these games. They've won 4 series in a row, 2 out of 3. It's nice to see that competitive spirit And it's nice to see what they've been doing. So I'm excited about it. I think and hope you are too. It's been a lot of fun being here with you again on your Locked On Marlins postcast, Locked On Sports Miami, and wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it be Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Apple Music, iHeart, you name it, we got it right here. And we're here after every Marlins game with your Locked On Marlins postcast. That's all there is, Fish fans. There is no more. Shout out to the Mad Dog as the Marlins win again, 3-1 in Arizona. 6 strong innings from Ryan Weathers. No runs allowed again for Weathers today. An incredible performance by him and just enough offense to squeak by. Keep your game tight and your mind right, Fish fans. We'll be back tomorrow at 6:40 Eastern. First pitch at around 9 o'clock with your Locked On Marlins postcast. Until then, I am saying goodbye and hoping you enjoy your holiday weekend. Also want to say thank you to those who have served and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you, fans. We will talk to you tomorrow.